Mitravan Bandhuvam, welcome to South Asia Maps Education Channel, your presenter Dr. J. Reddy. We are continuing our explorations on human ecology and predicament. This is part 89. And today, excuse me for my language, topic of interest is we are comparing humans versus animals. Humans are also animals, but here we are not using that specific the biological word. How they compare with respect to the carrying capacity. We have human animals here, the other animals here. How they compare with respect to the carrying capacity. Carrying capacity is the maximum supportable load on a territory. If you have a territory, a habitat, a small land, it can support like 100 humans or 100 animals permanently. That is the carrying capacity. How they differ with respect to the carrying capacity is the very important aspect, and if you understand and comprehend these aspects, you will get a deeper conception of how our political, economical, social events are shaping us today. Before that, and this is my education channel, and I have put in lot of effort and uploaded more than 330 presentations so far, and you can go and enjoy them. That is YouTube channel South Asia Maps J. Reddy. And this is the aspect, this is the part we are talking about today. That is our ecology series, that is 89. How humans and animals differ with respect to carrying capacity. You can see 89th part, and there are a lot of previous the parts, and you can look in the human ecology 1 or human ecology 2, the playlist in our YouTube channel. So this is the topic we are going to discuss today. Some of these works mainly come from Dr. Cotton's, one of the Dr. William Cotton Jr.'s pioneering work on human ecology, Overshoot book and Bottleneck book. What is a carrying capacity? You see a mule here. This mule, a type of donkey or something like that, and let's say it can carry 50 kilograms of weight permanently, forever. It can carry. That is the carrying capacity. That means instead of a mule here, you can think a piece of land that supports the human being. Let's the carrying capacity. This is a piece of land around about 10 square kilometers, 3.3. That is the average size of a village in the seeded districts of Rayalaseema of South India, Andhra Pradesh. If it is a forest, this habitat has a carrying capacity around about 10 people that it can support indefinitely. The hunters and gatherers, they gather the berries and fruits. It cannot support more. If you clear some of this forest and make it a farmland, around about, let's say arbitrarily 300-500 people can live forever. They produce lot of food by raising the crops and raising the farm animals. That is the carrying capacity. So how humans and animals they differ with respect to carrying capacity is the discussion. The major point you have to keep in mind is animals, they're just members of the ecosystem. They cannot do anything. They just live in the system. Let's say chimpanzees or the lions or dingoes in a particular region, let's say in Australia. They just live there. Whatever food they have, they survive. Humans, they manage the ecosystem. That's the major difference. This ability of the humans to manage the ecosystem is also advantageous, and it also is a serious disadvantage. Generally here, when we talk about, we are not talking about when you talk about the humans and animals like biological kingdoms, they're bipeds, they're tetrapods, they have the more brain. So that is not the point of discussion today. This is more ecological comparison. All the humans and animals, they are conceived from the male and female the gametes, like conceived for zygote formation, survives for small like gestation period, then the birth is given, delivered, they live for certain years, and they reproduce and they pass away. This is the normal thing. Animals here, humans here. Animals are just foragers and hunters. If an animal live in a forest, the monkeys just go and gather the berries and fruits, they live. If it's omnivorous, lions, they hunt other like the deers and so on. So they are foragers and hunters. Humans, before the agriculture invention, used to be foragers and hunters. After the agriculture invention and horticulture invention, round about 8000 BC. Let's say around about 10,000 years from now. 8,000 plus 2,000 is 10,000. After this, they turned into farmers, start managing the ecosystem. They cleared the forest, fence the land, grow the wheat or corn, replace the competitors. So the managers now of that area used to be the forest or wilderness. After the steam engine and discovery of fossil fuels, they have now developed themselves into industrial societies, that is called military industrial complex natures. That's the major difference. Animals couldn't do that. Whatever the nature gives, animals used to live in a particular area. If there are a group of monkeys, whatever fruits and berries are there, they live, that's it. Whereas the animals, they used to live that humans partly now, they take extra from the nature because they have the agriculture, traditional agriculture, industrial agriculture. They grow more food and they get extra. Animals cannot enhance the carrying capacity in a particular piece of the land or a habitat. Let's it can support like 100 giant pandas. Only 100 pandas will live in that particular district wilderness. Maybe 100 or 90, something like that. Where you cannot put 1,000 pandas there. Whereas the humans enhance the carrying capacity. Remember, where previously 10 people used to live there in this forest land, hunters and gatherers, now 500 people, farmers in traditional agriculture can live. And whereas if you make that in industrial agriculture, instead of 500, even 5,000 people can live. Green revolution, more food production. Animals cannot do that. Animals can use the current solar energy based sustenance. The sunlight falls, the trees and shrubs grow, they produce the grass, they produce the fruits and berries. Animals eat on them, the basic foragers, and further on the hierarchy, the lions hunt the deers and eat for them. Essentially, whatever the sunlight energy comes, animals provided with basic energy, the sustenance. Whereas humans do more than that. The humans can also live and use the historical energy, that is the fossil fuel energy. That means millions of years back, the microorganisms, the plants, they got buried under heat and pressure, they formed the coal and oil, natural gas. Humans excavate it, discover it, and use it for industrial food production. So they can use more energy running the automobiles, the international air travel, and so on. So animals cannot use that historical energy. They cannot go and dig and extract the fossil fuels and use it in farming and producing the more. Whereas humans can use this historical energy for in fuel, fossil fuel energy, coal, oil, natural gas. Animals, they just pass the genetic heritage. This animal, other female, they mate, the baby dog, let's say dogs are born, and the genetic heritage is passed. Whereas the humans, they can pass the cultural heritage. These humans, they marry other human and they produce the children. The children will be taught now how to do farming, how to produce more food. Later they invented industrial agriculture, how to produce still more food, how to raise the hybrid seed, hybrid corn or hybrid rice, how to build automobiles. Later they will how to build even better automobiles, more automobiles like that. So they pass the cultural heritage from generation to generation. Animals cannot. Essentially, animals are a single species in a sense. That's all. A dog just lives like a normal dog. Humans are quasi-species, even though genetically, biologically they are one. They are multi-species. They are the farmers, they are the farm workers, they are the agricultural workers, they are industrialists, they are entrepreneurs, they are the cab drivers, they are the programmers, and so they are we can say a quasi-subspecies, even though they are genetically only one. They have occupied different natures. All animals generally use the same amount of energy. Let's say the dog uses around about 15 or 1000 kilocalories per day for sustenance. Almost they use it. Previously, hunter and gatherer humans used to use around about 12,500 kilocalories of energy. Now, after industrialization, in certain societies called Homo colossus, the humans, they use automobiles, a lot of industrial appliances, gadgets. Instead of the basic 2500 kilocalories, they use 10, 20, 30, 40, even 100 times. So very wealthy people have a helicopter, they live in a particular area, fly that and work for a couple of hours and fly back and come back. So they are using more energy for daily sustenance. Animals cannot do that. So whatever they have, the basic energy use. That means, in a sense, animal, there is no colossuses, no giants. This is the Homo sapiens, simple human being. This is colossus, giant human being, energy consuming, high energy consuming human being. Animals live in a limited habitat. The chimpanzees live in a particular habitat, the giant pandas live in Sichuan Basin in China, that's all. They cannot go and live in Arctic. Whereas the humans now live in the Siberia, in the Alaskan wilderness to tropical land, and like that. Their habitat is much versatile for humans. Animals live day to day. They don't have the concept of future. Today, they just go and gather the food and they live and they sleep. Tomorrow again the process starts. They go and gather the food and live. They don't have any concept of what is the future or next day, 1 month or something like that. Whereas the humans have the concept of the future and the unintended consequences. They develop the greed, they develop the avarice. They gather a lot of food and store, even they gather a lot of wealth. The silver, gold, fiat currencies and digital currencies, millions of dollars or millions of rupees, billions, millionaires, billionaire. Animals doesn't have that concept, because they don't have the concept of future in the ecological sense. That means the animals doesn't store any sustenance. They do not even store the food. They just hunt for today, gather the berries and live. That's it for that day. Humans store the food, they store the wealth also. Essentially, animals they are successful if they have good foraging skills, good hunting skills, which they acquire very early. Like immediately few days of birth, the birds start foraging and gathering, animals start hunting and like that. Whereas the humans, they have a lot of duration. They have to take the more education, 25, 30 years, go to the college. They have the more parental dependency, animals. Humans, whereas animals that doesn't have that much dependency. Animals damage their habitat very less. Animals, they overproduce, like a deer in a particular area. Let's say that has a carrying capacity of 1,000 deers. They may produce 2,000 and they die. Their population decreases and the habitat recovers later and things like that. They want to do immense permanent damage. Whereas the humans do permanent damage. Today, 8,000 million people live on the planet Earth. They have modified the environment so much, they're pumping millions of the tons of the carbon dioxide, damaging the ozone layers, and their activities last 200 years are like making the the oceans rise and the glacial ice sheets melt. So animals cannot do. They do damage due to overpopulation, but not that much. Animals are less intelligent is generally considered. Humans are more intelligent. That intelligent animal also have consequences. The intelligence makes the animals a dominant species. Dominant species means the species that have more effect on the habitat. Their numbers are humongous now. The humans, 8 billion or 8,000 millions, and they are seen everywhere. They are damaging the more. Even so, let's say the ants may be like 10 for every day. There will be 10 quadrillion ants. That means many more times than billions. That the quintillion number of insects are there, but they're not dominant species, even though their number is more, whereas the humans are the dominant species. That is the major difference between the humans and animals. The basic thing is, animals are just members of the ecosystem, whereas the humans, they are the managers of the ecosystem. Hope this will put you in the proper perspective and make you a better understanding of the humans and animals. And this is Dr. J. Reddy, South Asia Maps. Mitraman Bandhuvam. Catch you later in other presentation. And I really appreciate joining me today. And if you take few seconds and access our channel and put your comment suggestion, that will be appreciated. See you later.